the Wolverines had a rough year, kind of due to their previous standards under head coach Sharon Moore. They went 8-5 last year. Played 3 different QBs. None of them played great. The offense was bad. The defense stayed good. It kind of felt like older Michigan teams, unlike the Michigan teams from the past couple years. So in they bring Bryce Underwood, the savior of the program. Bryce Underwood, the number 1 player in the nation last year. He's 6'4", 228. Kind of feels like he has everything you want in a QB prospect. And he's technically not been named the starter yet, but he's going to start week 1. He's going to be the guy this season. They're going to throw him in the fire early because they can't really go through another year like last year QB play-wise. JP, you mentioned him earlier, and you said you were going to contradict yourself. So thoughts on Bryce Underwood?
Yeah, I would say you have to start Bryce Underwood this season. He signs a $12 million 4-year deal with Michigan, getting outbidding LSU, which is the reason he's here. Really quick release. His best highlights, they're Lamar-esque. Like they're Lamar high school highlights. It's that kind of tape. He had a lot of design QB runs in high school. He's got all the talent in the world, like you said. And the biggest thing for him is just how is he going to perform? What is he going to be like mentally? Leadership, toughness qualities, all of those are going to have to show. And he'll be put into the bright lights immediately, like you said.
Sure.
He's going to start. I would start him. I think you have to start him. He's better than Mikey Keene, without a doubt. Michigan wants to be competitive this year, and I think Bryce gives you the best chance to do that. But he's going to be tested early. 2 big road games in the first 4 weeks. But I'm excited. I can't wait to watch him play. And I'm really excited and curious to see how he'll perform, especially in the bright moments. Because as soon as you see that, then you really kind of get the taste of, is he as good as the hype?
Yeah.
How does he play in the bright moments? And you can name any of the great college quarterbacks, specifically freshmen. You think of Jalen Hurts, took Alabama to the national championship when he wasn't the starter to start the season and replaced their quarterback in the first game. Trevor Lawrence was elite. I mean, his game against A&M is really like a huge moment for a freshman, replacing Kelly Bryant and coming in and leading Clemson to a national title.
I was in-house.
Not that Bryce is going to do that, but he could do that.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be, can he perform like Jalen Hurts did, like Trevor Lawrence did in those moments at such a young age?
Yeah. And, I mean, around him is it's a very talented team. The infrastructure is in place at Michigan, thanks to Jim Harbaugh. Defensively, they got dogs all over the place. Rod Moore tore his ACL last season, but he's going to be back. Derek Moore on the outside linebacker had 4 sacks last season, is a top 2-round pick. Rashawn Benny is another great player. I mean, they have dogs all on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have another great defense, in my opinion. Offensively, I am a little worried about Bryce Underwood's weapons. They bring in Justice Hayne to be probably the lead back. He's transferring in from Bama. He had 7 touchdowns with 448 yards there last season. He's like a quasi second back there. I mean, he got a lot of carries. But, wide receivers, though, Samaj Morgan's back. He had 139 yards and 1 TD last season. And then they're bringing in Donovan McCulley from Indiana, who was hurt most of last year, but he's a very talented guy. Are you at all worried about the weapons for Bryce Underwood, that could kind of hinder his growth or hinder his performance year 1? Or do you think he's that good it won't really matter? Or the weapons are just better than I'm making them out to be?
I think a lot of it is going to come down to the weapons are going to be good enough for how good that defense is.
Sure.
I think the defense is going to mean that even with poor weapons, the pressure, you're going to be getting a lot of short fields. You're going to be in games where you only need, 20 points to win. Like you're not like I said earlier about Maryland, actually. No. Iowa. Like you're not going to need 30, 40-point games to win these games because the defense is going to be so good. So I think that the defense, while the weapons may not be the most talented, like you're going to see in the wide receiver room at Ohio State or the transfer portals that Penn State brought in, but I do think that Michigan's defense is going to mean that even with maybe slightly below the top weapons in the Big Ten, they're going to be good enough. And Bryce Underwood is going to have less pressure on him than he would at a different school.
Sure.
But
I
also
think
more
for-
pressure. Like I realized that, like not less pressure. Like the pressure is high because it's Michigan and they want to win, but like less immediate. Like you have to go score a lot of points. Go ahead,
Sure.
JP. Sorry.
I think the pressure is on him, and I think he'll rise to it. For them offensively, I'm not even worried about them throwing the ball because I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to lean a ton on the ground game, and then I think their offense, like their explosive plays, are going through Bryce. Like
Sure.
if he can produce the kind of highlights he did in high school, then they are going to be in a good spot. He's going to have multiple 40-yard runs and 20-yard touchdowns. Like this guy is a running back playing quarterback. I
Yeah.
don't not putting this lightly. Like he is Lamar-esque highlights. He is unbelievably fast, has a great juke move, great stutter step. And if he can do that at a Big Ten competitive level, then their offense might even become the engine, because that is something that it's not something that is just easily stopped in college. Like in the NFL, it can be stopped to a degree, but you think of Lamar, you think of Cam Newton, even like that kind of speed and athleticism at the quarterback position is not stopped all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not even worried necessarily about the weapons. I'm more so worried, can Bryce do what he did in high school at Michigan?
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not worried about the weapons. I would like them to be better. But I will say, and I'm going to push back against Finn in the chat here saying Moore will get fired if OU beats them and they don't have a great season. It's Bryce Underwood's first year. Like, this kind of feels like a 3-year project, right? Have a good year one. If things don't necessarily go great, you win 8 games, 9 games, something like that. Who cares, really? You have 2 more years of this guy. He's going to get better. And then I feel like the clock really starts and the pressure really kicks up next year, kind of talking about the pressure. Now, I think he's going to be great too, JP. I don't necessarily think we're going to be in that situation. But I don't really see, Moore getting fired. And if the weapons do end up being an issue this season, you can address it next season and run it back. Will you please scroll down to my Morton's Main Matters segment down
boy,
here?
Here we go.
Friend of the show, Morton Carter. You may have seen him in chat before as Chromie. Huge Michigan guy. So I texted him and was like, what do I need to look out for? Michigan team, any people you need to step up, people you're looking at. Frederick Moore is someone he's looking at wide receiver to break out, and it would be a breakout. He's not really done much for them in his time there. He's expecting big things from Ernest Hausman, Big Hoss as he called him, at middle linebacker, and has targeted Kendrick Bell, who's a former QB, as another sleeper in the wide receiver core. Michigan has had success transferring positions on players before. Mikey Sanderstill was a wide receiver at Michigan before transferring to safety. He's now a dog on my Washington Commanders. Love the guy. His biggest question is how the tight end production looks. They lost Loveland. He went 10th in the draft.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
12th, 10th, somewhere in there.
Top 15, I'll just say that because I know that's for sure.
He went 10th.
10th to Chicago. He was a huge key piece of their offense. Really, their only productive guy last season. Was a great pass catcher at the tight end position. So I was curious how that's replaced. But that right there, those are Morton's main matters for Michigan in 2025.
Over-under is 9.5. So
It's a tough one, man, because I'm really high on Bryce Underwood and I'm really high on Michigan. But it's pretty steep. You're basically saying you can't lose. You lose to Ohio State. You lose to Oklahoma.
why do they lose to Ohio State?
You're right. They're not going to. I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
They're hitting double-digit wins.
I think I'm also going to take the over. They're going to beat Ohio State. It's in the Big House, right? That's Michigan, or the Big M. What do you get? The Big
It's the Big House.
Big House, yeah. I'll be taking the over. They'll beat Ohio State, and then, yeah, I'm going to take over. I don't want to say undefeated, but Ohio. I feel like if I say they're going to beat Ohio State, that's the hardest game on the schedule. But yeah, I'm going to assume they lose an upset, maybe at USC or at Oklahoma. But I've got them going over at 10 wins.
Yeah, it just honestly looks like a pretty nice schedule.
Yeah.
I like the way it broke for them. So,
JP?
I'm going to take the under.
fair.
I think defensively is being a little bit oversold. I think the talent is there, but I don't think the talent is what the talent was previously. I think they'll take a step back there. I'm if I had to bet, I'd bet that Bryce would be able to do the things that he did in high school. But I'm really curious to see how it perform in some high pressure situations. And until then, I'm not going to be necessarily super high on Michigan. I think rightfully they're a step behind the top three in the Big Ten, and I think they'll go 9-3 this year. Um, Losing, I mean Oklahoma, we'll see considering how what the John Mateer situation is, but
For sure.
um, I think they'll go 9-3 this year.
Yeah. I mean, JP has to come in and ruin our fun, be the voice of reason. But there definitely are some questions, and Sven is right. They lost 2 first-round defensive linemen that they'll have to replace.
Yeah, I'm looking at their recruiting classes. They've got 2 4-star defensive linemen in the class of 24 and 1, 2, 2 more in the class of 2023. So those are guys that are on the roster right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan has churned out defensive linemen, even Aiden Hutchinson, and then the 2 most recent first-round picks. So, and there was a Packer in there somewhere as well. So they have cranked out defensive lineman production.
Rashawn Gary.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You. Good pull. I have a lot of confidence in their ability to maybe not necessarily recreate it perfectly. It might take a small step back. I still think it's going to be a very good defensive line because it's what Michigan does.